Good afternoon, YouTube. JT Serenity Farms prepping here on a rainy, cold, dreary May 11th Monday in the North Country. So, I've had a few requests lately for single parent prepping. Unfortunately, in this day and age, there are a lot of single moms, single dads, single parents without children. So the questions have predominantly come from single moms with children either full-time or sharing custody with dad. It does present a somewhat unique set of circumstances for moms, especially working moms. Most of preparation is the same, but let's face it, being a single mom and having to face the daunting task of getting a lot of the prepping stuff that we do done can be overwhelming. Physically, some of them may be near to impossible. So how do we go about prepping as a single mom, asking for help when needed with certain things without giving away everything that we're doing? Okay, so the first thing that we have to do as a single mom is the same thing that we have to do as preppers in general. When the SHTF happens, are you bugging in or bugging out? This determines your pantry, your stockpile. If you're bugging in, then the overwhelming majority of your preps are going to be at that location. If you're going to bug out, where you're located will determine the amount of preps that you have at your bug out location as opposed to your bug in location. I live in the middle of nowhere. My home is my bug in location. That doesn't mean I don't have a bug out location, but I also am planning on a group of 10 or 12 to help defend the bug-in location. The odds are good I won't be forced out, but I have to make preparations in the event that I am, just as you do. Sometimes it's better to cut and run, let things calm down, potentially come back. Depends how you're forced out, when you're forced out. But I only have a 3-month supply of all my preps at my bug out location. I have 5 years worth of preps at my bug in location. A single mom may not even have a bug out location. Okay, so you have to determine, are you staying where you live Are you going to a friend's? Are you going to a relative's? Do you have a vacation home, a summer home? If where you live is going to be unsafe, especially after an SHTF, then I would only have a couple weeks to a month prep in my home, because at the first sign of real trouble, which should be within a couple weeks after an SHTF, I'm out. Or I'm out right off. I get where I need to be safe, and 3 months later, maybe I go back and see what's going on where I was. Okay, so you've made your determination. For the sake of this video, we're going to say you're bugging in. How much food do you need to have? Well, until recent events, most people had 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year, and felt pretty good about that. I never felt good about a year. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So, you're a single mom. You got a couple kids. Every time you go to the store, you just buy a few extra items. Maybe a case of water, 4 or 5 extra canned goods, the bigger cans, large bag of rice. Make sure that you get foods the kids like to eat. Kids are very finicky and will starve to death with 5 years worth of food sitting in front of them because they have food fatigue. Even some adults can't do it. When you go to the grocery store, you buy the long-term foods that you eat on a regular basis. You're going to be rotating those out of your pantry. But you also buy the treats that your children like every now and then. Those will be especially important after an SHTF. It'll be a little bit of normalcy to have a treat every other day, every third day, something to break up the trauma, is for lack of, that's because it's going to be traumatizing for the children. It's going to be traumatizing for many adults. Okay? So, if you're going to go to a big box store, do you know a neighbor? Do you know a friend? Do you know a relative that also shops like that? You can either go with them or go for them or ask them when they go just to combine. They don't need to know why you're doing it. That's up to you if you're going to establish with them what you're doing, and it's just more convenient and economically less taxing to do it together. Okay, now understand, everyone that you take into your confidence about your prepping knows you're prepping. Just because they agree to go to the store with you a few times or combine on items doesn't mean they're actually prepping. And when an SHTF happens and maybe they weren't judicious with their food, they're going to come knocking. If they don't have the same mindset as you do, they're going to have told other people as well. So you got to be very cautious who you're going to share that with. Okay, single moms. Somehow, some way, you have to have a talk with the kiddos. We've all experienced snowstorms, little power outages, small time frame lockdowns where the kids understood there was a day or two without electrical power, or the snowplows weren't coming by, or school was canceled. Okay, right now, the kids may actually be a little more receptive to preparing based on their knowledge of what's happening, especially if they're in their early to late teens and mature enough to grasp and handle what's going on. Okay, they're going to be experiencing a lot of emotional turmoil right now. Some things about their life might not have changed that much. They're actually enjoying not being in school. But at some point, the wearing of masks, other restrictions that are being placed on us all, it shouldn't ever seem normal to anybody. Don't let it become normal. Because once we all accept that this is normal, we're done. We're finished. This is not normal. It's not the new normal. This is abnormal. You know your children. You know the best way to talk to them about what needs to be done. And if they ask why you're buying extra groceries, if they happen to notice, you tell them, I'm preparing in case there's a power outage, or that we can't get to the store, or because of people being sick we may not be allowed to go to the store. I want to make sure we have extra food and water and treats and cosmetics and toiletries. We just need to prepare as if we can't go to the store for a couple weeks. And then explain to them how certain things have to be used more carefully. There can't be as much waste. Okay, so do you have a relative such as an elderly mother or father or both, or a grandmother, maybe someone who you think you're going to be taking in case of an extended whatever we have going on now? Medications. We need to get a 3-month supply of medications, at least if we can, for anybody who's on anything. It will probably be easier to get that 3-month medication for someone who's elderly or sickly, as a doctor will probably write that script for you a little more easily, especially with everything that's going on. It's all how you phrase it. Don't say, I'm a prepper, I need 3 months medication. No. Hey, my mom is on this medication. She can't get out of the house anymore. I'm so busy, I can't do this and that for her. Is it possible for me to get a script for 3 months? I don't have any medications. I don't know anyone on medications in my circle. I don't know how that's going to work. I'm using common sense and logic, and I don't know if there's any of that left out there. Let me know how it goes. Okay. Also, so you're buying some extra food every time you go to the store. You're putting it on your shelves. It'd be great if you're logging it in this month, next month, and then you're rotating your stock. Hopefully you have asked questions and done some research and bought a 3 or 6 month supply of long-term food storage, good for 10, 15, 20 years. There are payment plans out there. Now is a very difficult time to buy that food. There's a backlog with almost every company. But nonetheless, if you get on a list, they won't charge you until they actually send it. And a lot of the companies appear to be catching up now based on the research I've done. It's still going to be 6-8 weeks before they ship it. In my opinion, it's better to order it and hope it comes in a couple months than to not order it and not have it if shit gets bad down the road. Water is key. I can't say what's going to happen to the grid. So many people are losing jobs. They're printing money like the magic tree in the backyard has no bounds. Democrat states are stopping us all from being free and opening up because they're hoping for a bailout. I don't know how long this is going to last. Now you hear them all coming out with all sorts of new excuses. Children are getting sick from COVID-19 related stuff. How do you know? Now, you have sex, you can spread it. How do they know? They're testing semen from people who have COVID-19. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing the children thing? Why are they talking about forced vaccinations and going around to people's houses if someone's sick and yanking the kids out? You see how it's all coming together? Nobody's coming through my door. Going to be a lead allergy. It's not happening. Which leads me to self-defense. Just because you're a single parent doesn't mean that you didn't have experience with self-defense, haven't been an advocate and outdoor adventure person who has been trained and is knowledgeable about ways to protect yourself. If you can manage it, highly recommend it. Now, with children in the house, that presents its own perils. If you're already an experienced outdoors person, even if it's just the range now and then, odds are very good that you've had a discussion with the children. They've been told how to act, what not to do around firearms, and hopefully I've even had some training and experience themselves under your guidance. They need to know what to do if you can't do it. That is 100% your call. But I would rather have my daughter knowing what to do. Can't guarantee that they'll do what needs to be done, but at least they know how to do it safely. Okay, so documents, cash, your important papers. You need at least 3 copies of each. SHTF happens somewhere down the road. Somebody's going to be coming around because they can. Is this your home? Yes. Do you have papers to prove this is your home? Yes. Do not give those papers up. Is this your vehicle? Yes. Do you have the title and registration to this vehicle? Yes, I do. You're not giving up any of the papers, you're showing them. Who are you? Are these your children? Birth certificates, family photos, marriage certificates, death certificates. Have any important papers that you think you need scanned. Make yourself, I have a hard drive. I also have a little one. both contain all my papers scanned into my laptop and then downloaded on to those. I also have hard copies in plastic in my bug out bag and another set at my bug out location. Maybe a little overkill, but once again, better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I feel there'll be checkpoints down the road, so certain papers could be very important come that time. Alright, so single mom. Who do you tell that you're preparing? Someone has to know. Someone is going to want to know when the shit goes down if you're safe. You likely have someone that you're going to want to know. Are they safe? Have you established how you're going to make contact with these people besides phone? Besides internet? They may all be down. Can you designate a meeting place if there's no contact within a certain number of hours or days? Do you have a route to that place and then an alternate route? Are you going to go to a relative's house and pick them up to bring them back? Or are they expected to come to your place after X number of hours or days? And if they don't, what's your plan? Are you leaving children while you go search or meet? Are you taking them with you? Do you have 72-hour kits, bags, in your vehicle at all times? Regardless of whether you're bugging in or out. It might be a 10-mile trip to a relative that you're picking up. You leave in the dead of night, your car breaks down, runs out of gas, roads are blocked, slide off the road, whatever. You're stuck for the night. What do you got in your car to keep you warm, to feed you, to assist in help, flares, flashlights, shovels, a couple gallons of water, a few blankets, sweatpants, sweatshirt, hat, gloves. Those all fit in a very tiny bag in your trunk. Very important. What if you get stuck at work overnight? Do you already have something in a locker there? Or is it going to be your 72-hour bag in your car? Okay. So, we've established some things you're going to do if you're staying in, bugging in, when SHTF happens. What if you're bugging out? You have supplies at your location. You have your route. You have your alternate route. And you have your backup route. Your children need to know if this happens when you're at school, you're at your dad's, you're at your friend's. This is the plan. This is the backup plan. And you need to practice. Just reading over it and asking them if they know what they're supposed to do is not good enough. I can read this entire page and then read it back to you without looking at it because I memorized it. But I didn't do it. There's a whole world of difference when you actually have to do it. There's no panic for me to read this back to you from memory. There may be panic, anxiety, danger if I have to physically do what I just read here. by myself at night. I'm a young teenage girl. Your children need to know exactly what they're supposed to do in any situation. And then you need to practice it once or twice. There are unique circumstances for single moms with children, but in the end, you prepare just the same as if there was a full family unit, just knowing when it's time to do whatever you need to do, that it's going to be you. Unless you've enlisted the help of someone else that's going to be there for you. Don't assume they're going to make it and help. If they show, fantastic. Extra hands, extra eyes, ears, great. If they don't, you were planning on doing it on your own anyway. But none of us can do it alone. You have to join forces with someone else. It's just going to be too hard for all of us to do it alone. I know that I didn't touch on everything that you possibly need to do. It's too hard to do in just one video. I'm hoping I'm just giving some advice to people who already have an idea of what's going on and what they need to do. And I'm not telling you anything that you didn't already know. But we all need to be reminded once in a while. And this might be just enough to get you moving. Because bad juju's coming, in my opinion. So that's all I got for now. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Don't care. But for now, JT signing off.